Hey everyone, welcome to the Underswell. I'm Derek Sabori. Thanks for being here. Meet Geoff Koboldt. Visit his website and you'll learn that he's an entrepreneur working seamlessly on two tracks. As a business consultant, Geoff is an AI-curious operations wizard and a Lean Six Sigma black belt who's helping clients maximize net income and clean up their operations. And as a career coach, he's helping clients with resume writing, LinkedIn optimization, and interview preparation. What I learned during our conversation, though, is that Geoff genuinely enjoys helping others and is driven by others' success. So whether it's efficiency gains in your business operations or getting that pay raise, Geoff is someone you want in your corner. A networking master with hundreds of projects and testimonials under his belt, Geoff has both quantifiable and qualitative results that highlight his worth, and he's currently taking on new clients. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you'll dive in and learn more about the ways Geoff Koboldt can help your business or your career. Hey, Geoff. Well, hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Derek.
I'm excited. The first thing right off the bat, I've seen your guitars and the Cure and the Pixies, your music posters. Give me a little background on drums back there. Yes. Music's a big part of your life.
Yeah, huge part of my life. Been playing for many, many years. I was in a band that did nearly 100 shows a year.
Oh, wow.
In the late 90s, which was super fun and awesome. And
best time for music, in my humble opinion.
Yes. So unfortunate, my 9-year-old son has picked up the drums. We tried to start out on guitar and ukulele and didn't work out for him. But he picked up drums. So he took a year of lessons and we switched over from the traditional drum set over to the electronic drum kit that you see behind me.
Yeah.
So much quieter and better for my ears here.
I know that world. My daughter was a drummer as well. My son played a bit of guitar, so I know the switch. We did the switch as well for a while. But Geoff, tell us where are you dialing in from, and is that home? Where's home base right now?
Yeah, so I'm in Southern California in a town called Corona Hills, which is about, for those that don't know, is about 35 minutes sort of northeast of Newport Beach, or 50-something miles southeast of Los Angeles.
Yeah, okay.
And that's home for me.
Yeah.
Although I grew up in the beautiful state of Michigan, but this is home for me now.
How long have you been here on the West Coast?
25 years.
There we go. Yeah, this is home.
Yeah.
Well, Geoff, you offer career coaching, resume writing, interview prep, job search, and LinkedIn optimization. Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about the service that you offer.
Yeah, so I offer it's sort of two pillars. One is focused on lean consulting to small and mid-sized businesses, largely manufacturing, to help them ultimately maximize net income and clean up their operations. And then the other pillar is focused on the career coaching, which is resume writing, LinkedIn optimization, interview preparation, as well as career navigation and architecting their careers.
Cool. I would imagine, actually, I'll pose this to you. So what do you tell people? What are you trying to help people do? How do you help them, and why? Give me a little pitch line if you can.
Yeah. So for me, it goes back to, ultimately making a difference in their lives. I'm a bold servant leader, and really it's about impact and being a blessing for others. And so I'm grateful that I can use my talents to help elevate people's livelihoods and get their careers, make them more money, get them more fulfilled in their roles. And more importantly is to affect their families, and make a difference. And so I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it. It gives me great joy to make a difference and see when somebody lands that new role. And especially in today's market, which is brutal right now, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And so finding some success in those makes it really rewarding for me.
Super rewarding. And, that's also why I'm, going down this pathway as well, because it feels good. It's really great to be able to, if we can make a business and a living helping others. I mean, servant leadership, I'm a big fan of as well. What are you seeing out there, Geoff, when it comes to job seekers and resumes? What's working? What's not working? Is there anything that really kind of rises to the surface for you right now?
Yeah, so I'll tell you what isn't working, because that's the easy one to pick apart. Is I would say 99 out of every 100 resumes that come across my path just aren't good, right? And they ultimately fail at the top, where they're just not reeling the person in. And making it inviting to know, what are you great at? What are your core expertise? What's the value that you bring, and how are you going to help this company ultimately make money? Not to sound capitalistic, but you want to tie yourself to top line revenue generation or maximizing net income. Yep. Most people don't understand how they affect that profit and loss. And so really, really critical is dialing them in immediately. It shows their value proposition. What are those career home runs? What are the real highlights that reels that person in that 6 to 10 seconds or 15 seconds, 30 seconds. You'll hear different statistics on what's important. Historically, it was 6 seconds to wow the reader. Regardless, even if you had 25, 30 seconds, you can't make people have to fish for what you're good at. You got to make it super easy to digest. And most people fail at that.
Yeah, really to make it clear and quick and easy. I like what you're saying, easy to digest. And that idea of tying it to the business, so important. And that, I think, has been a common theme that I've heard everywhere, even from my work in sustainability. We got to this point where, hey, it is great and it's the right thing to do, but we have to make sure that we're tying this message, that it's clear, people understand it, and that it's tied directly to the business, because at the bottom line, at the end of the day, that's what we're all doing. You're trying to get hired by your business. You're trying to get your initiative across the line. So tie it to the business. Great advice.
Yep.
Geoff, let's talk about pathways a little bit. Tell me about, your career past and how you landed here as an entrepreneur now, doing things on your own, and maybe give me a little sense of what's informed your decision to help others and where you're expecting it to take you.
Yeah. So first thing is my career has not gone linear, right? From point A to point Z. Mine has been a roller coaster ride of going left and going right and going upside down and flipping all over the place, right? So foundation of my career was started at General Motors in operations, held a variety of positions, moved on to Milgard Manufacturing, which does high-end doors and windows as a materials manager there, to into Action Sports. And so as part of Dark Horse Distribution, which had wonderful skateboard brands of Grind King with a license to Dogtown, Termite Skateboards, etc. And from there, my own entrepreneurial journey with Bamboo Buddy and Bamboo Skateboards. Moved on from that, exited that in 2014, and then worked for a high-end luxury furniture company, and then moved on to lighting. And then in between those, have also was an MBA professor, undergraduate professor for 16 years. And then consulting and all this other stuff on the side. So I've kind of maintained 3 different roles, but it's just taken me from, billion-dollar companies, $10 billion, $200 billion companies to small $4 million entrepreneur companies, $10 million entrepreneurial companies, just kind of been all over the place.
Yeah, so you've been able to see it all. That's a great resume, and I love. I'm a big fan of winding career paths. Most of them are, and I think those are some really exciting ones. With all of those different experiences at different places, different industries, different size companies, you've seen a lot. You've worked with a bunch of different people. What really what are some of the lessons that you've learned? Can you wrap it all up, and how do you apply all of that into your energy and focus today?
Yeah, a lot of failures in the beginning, right? So, navigating the corporate politics, the bureaucracy, the red tape, learning how to make connections and vibe is really important, right? So how do you vibe with senior executives? Great lessons in that. One important distinction is learning how to communicate at all levels of the organization. So how you treat somebody at the front line is completely different to mid-level management, to top line. And so learning how to communicate is really, really critical, and then from the top is solving problems, driving results, but making a business case, making it understandable about, hey, this is going to cost us $1 million of investment, but I forecast seeing a $10 million, a return on this. So selling that is really, really important.
Do you, as you're saying that, I'm thinking, and thinking about young people coming into their careers, would you advise people to kind of take a path like you've taken, like kind of take risks on different things? Or, looking back, I would imagine I had a winding career path. I'm really happy with how it all turned out, but it's got its pros and cons. Yeah. What would you suggest to somebody coming up?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's like 2 schools of thought, right? You stay in one lane and you just become a true expert in that, and then you take this other one where you're constantly pivoting and adapting and transforming. And I think it's a delicate balance of both of those. It seems like in today's market, most people want a very specific sort of linear, great, everything about this. But then, on the flip side, I see a lot of people who are also looking for that person who can navigate. And I don't want to say it's a corporate ladder because it's really not a corporate ladder anymore. It's more like a corporate matrix of that, like you're jumping hoops in the sky. You know what I mean? Being able to do, and the reality is that the world is transforming so quickly now, right? Business is global, it's complex, it's dynamic, it's ever changing. The rise of technology and AI, all the rules are being rewritten. And I think learning to pivot, that is probably the number one thing that I would say to a younger generation, and everybody, quite honestly, but largely the younger generation, is to learn how to pivot, how to understand change management, because companies are going to get knocked over left and right. It's not like traditional Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies that last for 80 to 100 years. Many are lucky to survive 20, 30 years these days, and it's only going to get worse.
Which means we need to stay nimble, stay curious, keep
Yes.
learning, always be ready, to your point, being ready for that pivot. What are some, as a service provider, Geoff, what are some client stories that you'd like people to know about? How have you helped your clients lately?
Yeah, I'll give you two great examples. So recently here in January, we had Amy, who does account sales for K through 12 education markets. She was able to land, we finished her resume and her LinkedIn, and then I gave her a little bit of coaching. And she was able to get, I think it was 3 interviews within a matter of weeks, and she landed a new job in 5 weeks.
Wow, that's great.
It's wonderful. Yeah. I mean, you look at sort of historically right now, I mean, most are taking 4 to 6 months as sort of one patch, and then you have the 6 to 9 months, and then you have a sliver of folks who are way out there past a year, still trying to make it. Another success is Clements, who had 4 interviews within 2 weeks. Again, resume, LinkedIn was completed, 4 interviews. He took the final offer, and that was around 6 weeks to help him achieve that. So that was really wonderful and very proud.
Yeah, you should be. Those are great stats because in the interviews I'm doing, I am hearing those 8 and 9 months. And these are people that have really solid resumes. They've had good experience. They've been in great positions. They've been at good companies. And it's tough out there.
Very tough.
How important is the resume right now, Geoff? Is it your LinkedIn bio? Is it your resume? Is it networking? Is it who you know? I've heard, we always say, that your network is your net worth. Yeah. Are most people landing jobs, though, because of their network? Or can you still get a job with a resume and an application on LinkedIn or elsewhere?
Yeah, it's very hard. So the resume is important, right? To me, it's the foundation of what you need because you're taking that resume into LinkedIn, pockets of it, right?
Yep.
But LinkedIn, to me, is where all the power's at. It's where 99.9% of recruiters are at, hiring managers, everybody's there. So you need to have the wow factor in the resume. You need a profile that pops in the LinkedIn. It has to be visual, modern, clean aesthetic. It needs to be easy to digest, but you need to celebrate your value, right? And make it easy to digest about the value that you're bringing and why you're different than everybody else. And add a lot of personality. In the about section of the LinkedIn is a great opportunity. You have tons of character space. Take advantage of showing a little personality versus the dry, I achieved X, Y, Z, and I drove this process to, who are you? Like, people hire people for them, so vibe goes back to vibe. It's very, very important.
Yeah. And I recently, even up in my bio area, really zeroed in, and I challenged myself to say, hey, challenging myself with my own, advice. Derek, what exactly do you want people when they first land there? What do you want them to know that you do specifically, right? I mean, I kind of had I overword things too often, but it can be really challenging in each of those sections to do it right. And to your point, have it be effective and make it work for you. It's so important though, right?
Absolutely important. I mean, at the end of the day, people are hiring you to, solve problems.
Yeah.
So how do you solve the problem?
That's it. That's bingo. That's great. When I look at your website, or Geoff, I know you've got a great website that explains kind of all you do, what your service offerings are. But one of the things that really caught my eye, and this kind of leads to just what we were talking about, you said, I aspire to be the most networked individual in Southern California and to be on the LA 500 list of most influential leaders and executives. I love that you put this out there. To me, it's almost like manifestation. Well, I'm thinking manifestation vision. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, I already nailed that. Walk me through that process and what that's been like.
Yeah, so I wish I could say I nailed it, but I haven't. It was a lofty, ambitious goal a couple of years ago. It sounded right for sort of the direction where I was at. And largely from the executive side is, I was in a leadership role. Moving on to the entrepreneurial venture, these things still hold very true, right? Because it's like you want to be that go-to guy that everybody knows, and nothing would excite me more than, walking into a room and people knowing who I am, or, remotely here on the web, that people are finding me and going, oh, wow, you need to connect with Geoff Koboldt because he's so well connected. And that only helps my business, right? That I'm connected to recruiters and talent acquisition folks and HR. I'm connected to senior executives who are hiring. There's just a myriad of things that I want to accomplish, and that only helps my business more.
Yeah, and if people, when they come and they land on your page and they see that you're connected with, all of these people, that's a level up experience. People are like, oh, I got to work with this guy because look at his network.
Right. Yeah, and I'm in the back end. I'm working on some advanced AI right now that's going to kind of bring all of this together. So I can't speak to it too much, but it's going to be mind-blowing.
Okay, well, we'll stay tuned. You'll have to keep us informed.
Yes.
So we can share it. Geoff, what's something, I mean, a big part of why I do this is because I want to give people the opportunity to bring themselves off of their, resume page or outside of their LinkedIn bio. We can only get so much out of that. What is a life experience that your LinkedIn bio or resume can't fully capture? Something that really has determined who you are and that informs your work style. And it's, we may not get it by just reading through the copy there.
Yeah, something that was very paramount to the foundation of my career was, again, starting at General Motors, coming in, young, fresh college grad, working in a union environment. So you have UAW and management of General Motors doing this for 100 years, right? Mm. So working through that politics. But I remember my father saying, Geoff, don't come in there with your fancy suit and your education and all that. He's like, you have to just roll up your sleeves and get dirty with the frontline workers. That will make the difference throughout your career. And he was so right, because especially in that environment, it's really about trust and respect and loyalty. And when you can start to finesse and fine tune that, it's amazing the results that you get, especially in a very tough, like I said, very tough union environment like that.
Yeah.
And so I was fortunate to get that buy-in. We had great success at our plant there, which was a $250 million distribution facility. We became the number one AC Delco plant in North America. Just great results.
Wow.
And so I've lived by that motto. Even to this day, I, get my hands dirty, go straight to the front lines, because frankly, they know all the answers. They do the work day in and day out. They know what's going on, sometimes better than what the executives even know. And so I'm not afraid of getting my hands dirty and rolling up my sleeves. And it's just something I've lived by that's served me well.
I can gather from your personality, the answer to this next question and what I'm hearing you say, but tell me a little bit about your work style and what people would appreciate most about working with you if they hire you for one of the services you offer. What are they going to get? Yeah,
so a few things, one of which is being very process driven. I come from a Lean Six Sigma background, and so that is all about process improvement and efficiency. So you're going to get a dedicated process that removes the back and forth a lot. It's very foundational in how it operates. It's all about creating momentum. So I'm high energy. I'm going to, kick your butt a little bit, but I'm going to give you the confidence that you need, because a lot of people just don't have it, right? Especially those that have been laid off. They're wounded, their tails between their legs.
Yeah.
And it's scary, right? I've been there a few times. And so I have tremendous empathy for what they're going through. But it's really just about confidence. And then going above and beyond. So I'm not just one that writes a resume or coaches somebody. You'll find that I will follow up with every single person 3 months later, 6 months later, 9 months later, a year. How's it going? What are you learning?
Yeah.
Have you updated, the projects you've worked on? Do you need your resume updated? And it's, while there is some upselling of services for the future, it's really just about keeping that open from a pre-sale all the way to the post-sales. I think most people fail on the post-sale side of things. And for me, it's about a relationship,
Right. So then the next question I have for you is, it's a vision board exercise, right? It's this idea of like putting it out there. You've already done that with your networking aspirations. I think that's great. But let's imagine, your company is thriving, your business is booming. It's all that you could ask for. What does that look like? Who's an ideal client for you right now? Give me some specifics of what your vision for this endeavor looks like.
Yeah, it's a wonderful question, right? Because you really, you want to manifest that big, hairy, audacious goal of what it would look like in the future. And for me, it goes back to being a blessing for others. So I've been tremendously blessed in my life, and it's really about being a blessing for others. And so nothing would give me more joy than, again, seeing people elevate their livelihoods, elevate their careers, being happier in their jobs. We spend a lot of time at our jobs, so why not find one that's fulfilling? And then taking that energy and transforming it, taking it home, being a good spouse, a good parent, a good friend, a good neighbor.
Yeah.
And really what I love the most is when you see people that you've helped and now they're so moved by it's like it just transforms their life, where they now want to sort of pass that baton to the next person. So they'll go out of their way to help others. Hey, this is the insights that I gained. Here's what worked for me. See if it can help you.
Yeah.
And most importantly is picking that one person. If everybody, just take LinkedIn, if everybody just picked one person to go help right now and dedicated themselves until this person lands a job, I'm going to stay with this person. we would transform a lot for humanity in the world, and the United States in particular, in our job market. I mean, that would give me tremendous joy.
Interesting. Almost like a job-seeking mentor, like a buddy, a job-seeking buddy, right? A companion.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I've been there, right? It's like when you've got a job, you're not thinking about others. You're going through the motions. You're in your job. You're balancing your family and everything else. But I truly believe if we could build sort of that in the DNA, the core of our spirit, especially, teach people in high school, get that in career, in college, get that, sort of embedded in the DNA. So now that you get into the market, you're realizing, oh my God, this is really about, helping others. And to me, maybe a little spiritual, but I believe we're all brothers and sisters in this life, and it's our gift and our servant to be a service to others. Help our fellow brothers and sisters.
Yeah, well, you heard it here. Geoff Koboldt put out a challenge to adopt somebody on LinkedIn and stick with them until they find that job. I love it. That's great. Mm-hmm. What advice do you have? This might be redundant because I think you've alluded to it already. You've given me some tidbits here. But what advice would you give to people who are looking for jobs? Those people that are kind of at week 1, month 1, 2, 10, 9, whatever it might be. They're either crafting their resume, they're getting laid off, they're looking, or they're fine-tuning their bios. Give us a couple other bits of advice.
Yeah, so let's hone in on those that have been laid off. I think first and foremost, I tell everyone, go cry it out. Let all those emotions out. We're humans. If you got to cry, go cry. Men, you can cry too.
Sure.
Right? You just got to get through the emotions. The worst thing is to just try to jump back into it. And it doesn't work. You got to get the mindset first. So get the emotions out, whether that's a few days, it's a few weeks, it's a month. Just work through those emotions, get it out, and then come back in positive, and visualize, manifest, envision, hey, I'm going to have a great new job soon. I'm going to be joyful in the job that I do. I'm going to work for a great boss. I'm going to work for a company that aligns with my values, right? Those things will happen eventually. So you can't get caught in the emotion side of things. Networking is really, really key. And so there's a specialty to how you network. A lot of people like to throw a bunch of words into a message and they regurgitate what's in the resume, and you can't waste people's time. It should be very short and succinct. Invite them to a coffee chat, but you can't just take. So, LinkedIn in particular is about giving. Give 3 to 5 times for every time you take, which is why networking is important. Even when you have a job, you should be, connecting and helping others and serving others so that when you do need it, you're ready. But most don't do that. So there is that opportunity to, rebuild your network. In terms of resume, again, you heard me say earlier, it's really about the wow factor. You got to reel it in. LinkedIn has to pop, has to wow. You got to make it easy to digest. And I would say avoid the easy apply on LinkedIn. Don't do that. There's thousands of people. Go straight to the company's website. And timing is everything in this job market. This job market is brutal right now. So you're going to see that most jobs have 250 to 1,000 plus people going for it. Doesn't mean that everybody's qualified, but what you need to do is get in there early. So set the filters, set the actions so that when things, you see that job, immediately go apply. But go to the job board, a company site rather.
All good advice, and we'll put the link for people to contact you so they can, because you can help them with all of those things, I'm sure, help people polish up their resumes, their bios, and hopefully land that job a lot quicker than they might be able to on their own. Geoff, let's wrap it up here with a soapbox moment, as I like to call it. I want to give you an opportunity for either giving a shout out to something that's great, or someone who has helped you along the way, or even a call out for something that has might have you riled up right now. What do you want to share?
Yeah, so one thing that's got me riled up and why I'm focused on the AI technology that I mentioned earlier is this is like I said, it is a brutal, tough market. And so what's happening right now is you have sort of this people are mad at recruiters. They're blaming recruiters. There's a lot of ghosting. There's a lot of just lack of humanity. And then there is some of that. And there's some bad apples. There's bad apples in every type of situation. Yeah. But you got to understand, a lot of these talent acquisition folks, recruiters, they've been laid off, right? They're the first to go. And so they're working through the emotions. They're all struggling to find work as well. And so I think we just need to get back to kindness and empathy and compassion and not doing this. Work together. And then on the flip side, you have people who just, will try to go to ChatGPT and write a resume, and they fake it. and it's a BS resume. And so now you have everybody doing that, which is why you get 1,000 people who all look the same on paper, right? And so HR is going, how do I even distinguish these 100 people right here? What do I do? You know? So there's a huge opportunity to bring this all together.
Humanize it.
Yes. Humanize it, but also have the efficiencies of technology, which is like ultimately what you want. And so again, I'm working on the back end of some really amazing tech right now that I think will help bridge the gap, solve the problems, make it useful for the company, right? They're going to, companies they want to risk or mitigate their risk rather, right? And they want to hire the best qualified candidate at the best possible rate. On the flip side, clients, people, job seekers are saying, hey, I just want some feedback. If I'm denied, right? Don't automate it. Don't send it on Sunday at 3:00. Why am I getting it on the weekend? Or why am I applying and all of a sudden 10 minutes later I'm getting the auto reject, So just bridging that gap. So I'm super excited. It would be about 6 months before this is launched. But I think it's going to be a game changer.
All right. Well, we'll check back with you in 6 months, and maybe we'll have you on the show to share what you've got with us. Geoff, thanks so much for making time for this. It's been great. And we'll put all the links so people can get a hold of you. But I would imagine best place to follow along with you, LinkedIn on your website. Is that right? Anywhere else they should
LinkedIn
go?
and Koboldt.com.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, Geoff, thank you so much, and best of luck. Hope you land some new clients from this.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Derek.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what you heard, be sure to check back weekly, subscribe to the show, and if you want to be featured on the show, come hit us up at theunderswell.com. We'd love to hear from you.